Hello YouTube. Today I am going to do an introduction video for tornadoes. Now, my buddy, my best friend, actually I should probably say my best friend, has been wanting me to do this for a while, so I decided, hey, why not? I am a huge tornado nerd. I know how they're formed. I know almost every little bit detail about it. I know how they're formed. I know how long they last, and wind speeds and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna get down to basics. I guess I can kind of make this for people that don't fully understand how tornadoes are. So I think that's what this is gonna kind of be about. Excuse me. So tornadoes usually form in like the Midwest, sometimes East Coast, sometimes Canada, but they mostly form in like Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, small parts of Michigan, Kentucky has now been recently getting them now, but just mainly just like Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, Arizona, parts of Arizona. Little bits of California, but nothing like devastating ones are mostly towards like the Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Mississippi area. So tornado, usually if you see a tornado or if there's like a thunderstorm or a tornado watch, usually when they start, or how they can form is warm air and cold air. So like there's a warm air in the atmosphere, then there's some cold air. If that like mixes together, well, first actually before even that happens, it's a wall cloud, and then there's a warm moisture, like warm air and moisture, like both like thunderstorms and all that stuff. As the air is warm and there's cooling happening, they kind of like start to like not immediately a funnel, but the wall cloud kind of almost like have like its outside wall of the wall, I guess, like the because there's the wall cloud itself, and then there's the outside of it, which will kind of slowly rotate, almost like out of a horror movie where it'll like slowly rotate. And sometimes, sometimes that's about as far as they get, but most of the times it'll spawn a tornado, or sometimes, rarely, sometimes two or more. With a main tornado, it can range from -0, which is, I guess, in a sense, like can be strong enough to like tear this tissue, kind of like do that kind of thing. It's like a dust cloud, pretty much. Which can range from about 25 to 45 miles an hour. EF1s can go from 75 to about 65 to sometimes 70. EF2s, like EF1s are strong enough to pick up a trailer home in a tree. EF2s are where they start to get a little bit dangerous, or it can range from 75 miles an hour to like 90. And EF3s are where, like, if you're not in a safe place, you're gonna die. Those can range from 90 miles an hour to about roughly 110 miles an hour. EF4s Like by this point, I mean, YouTube won't monetize me, but EF4, if you don't get it, you better get the cover because you'll be shitting bricks because that is a complete waiver of you're screwed, and that can rip up essentially anything that's not steel because it can't. Tornadoes can't rip up steel, which metal they can, but not steel. Like steel foundation, or I don't know if it's really steel foundations, but steel parts those are safe, but metal and stuff like light posts and trees will definitely be gone. Uh, roads will be just torn to shit. Yeah, and you have forests can range from about like 100 to like 100 and actually 160, and EF5s can range from 106 to 175 to 260 plus. Now, when EF5, if you're caught in that, you may as well just may as well say you forget it and just say sayonara, because EF5s, man, they can be wide. They can sometimes just be look like an EF4, which EF4s can look like a casual tornado. If you've seen pictures of tornadoes, they just look like tornado-ish. But EF5s can be very widthy, and they will, excuse me, they will obliterate absolutely anything, except like again the steel. Steel safe, but everything else is completely screwed. Trailer homes gone, light posts gone, streets just torn to shit, telephone wires, transformers, foundations of like normal housings and stuff completely obliterated. So those are where you hopefully in the right mind would actually go to a shelter, unless even if you're like 2,800, at least be like a safe distance, like at least maybe 30 or 35 miles, not miles away, like maybe about like 10-15 miles away, because if you get too close you can get sucked in by the shit, I forgot the name of it, because there's a type of current that will have this updraft. I think it's updraft, actually. Yeah, I think it's the updraft, which has all this rain just plummeting you and some wind, like away from the tornado that can just, if you're in a car, it'll just kind of move your car around, but you don't want to be in that. And also another thing, actually, is that tornadoes can also spawn satellite tornadoes, which are very puny, tiny ones that look like dust cloud, like little dust devils. But satellite tornadoes sometimes just are like 3 or more little tiny tornadoes around the bigger tornado, which is just called satellites. And sometimes, very rarely, well, rare-ish on the rare occasion, they can spawn 2 or more tornadoes. I think it doesn't happen too often, but it can definitely happen. Let's see. It's just wild though. Like, we still don't fully understand why tornadoes happen, but when they do happen, they can just cause destruction. Like, they're just ravaging. They even sound terrifying. Like, they just anything from EF0 to about EF3, you can Like if 0 to 1, some don't sound as terrifying. 2, 3s, and 4s sounds like the ocean, like just a rolling wave, like a current. And a 5s, that is, that's been talking about an A5 just chilling, because it just sounds like a freaking, like it sounds like 9 to 10 freaking freight trains all at once. Like it's that fast. It sounds like freaking multiple freight trains, and just that plummeting through. It's just so horrifying. It's like I've never seen a tornado with my own eyes, but the what the hell? Okay, that's very weird. Let me shake my leg. Apparently, it's enough to cause a draft to my tissue box somehow. I don't know how that's possible. But anyway, I'm getting off track. But EF5s are very, very deadly. You 1,000,000,000% should get to like a basement or like a bathtub and close that shit down. Just unfortunately write it out. Now EF5s, like I said, will rip out foundation. So he's hoped. I mean, even though you will unfortunately have to rebuild, but just be thankful for your life when you're just being safe. Just be thankful that everybody you have in that basement will be fine. Well, actually, you will be fine in a basement from any tornado if you're in a basement, but EF0s are nothing to worry about. Wave 1s are kind of too. You will definitely go to a basement for 2, 3, 4, and 5. I do always wonder though if dust devils should be categorized as a tornado, because I have seen some dust devils, even with my own eyes, that almost look like an actual funnel from a tornado. There's no wall cloud, of course, because it's just that, because it almost does the same thing. It's just current. Man, this is. I don't want to go too off track, but just tornadoes are in general are very fascinating. I've been obsessed with them since I was like 7, 8 years old. When I went to my elementary school, our library, there was this book about tornadoes, and I think I read that book maybe 6, 7 times, like the same book, to a point where my teacher was like, get a different book. So I decided to get one about hurricanes. And after I read that book a few times, I went back to getting that same tornado book and just reading about it over and over again. At the same time, I want to witness a tornado, but from a safe distance, of course. But I also just want to just see one, just to say I've seen one, because just the thrill, just very thrilling just to see one, but safely. So I just hope I can see one day, but from a safe distance and not be in danger. Like, I guess props to any of the tornado hunters that are out there. I especially gotta give a shout out though for helping me learn a little bit more about tornadoes. I mean, even me, who's obsessed with tornadoes, doesn't know every little bit of detail, but I definitely gotta give a shout out to Pecos Hank. That guy is freaking insane though. I mean, I've watched all his tornado videos as far back as like 2018-ish, but I've watched all of his little highlights from like 2011, 12, 13, 14, all the way to present day. Huge props to him. He's just an amazing chaser. He's with a team, but he just knows. Well, you can't really just know. You just have to be there and lucky. Catching a tornado or trying to record it can be very difficult because it can change paths. The winds can change paths, or the storm could go a different direction, or could produce a weak tornado or not produce anything. And a good terminology that I learned from him is that sometimes clouds that look like wall clouds can be just called SLEs, scary looking. Scary. I remember one week it was called like it was like scary ass looking cloud. I think he called like an SLE or something. But there are some scary. I have seen some scary clouds, but it's just again, I gotta give him props. Gotta give Pecos Hank a huge props because he's the probably most reliable hunter. Oh, I guess I should also give out a little shout out to Reed Timmer, who was once on Storm Chasers with filmmaker. Shit. His name. Damn it, I think his name was Sean. I think his first name was Sean, but he was an IMAX filmmaker. But shout out to him too. Shout out to everybody from the Storm Chasers area from that show. I love that show. I watched every episode of that. But Reed Timmer still does it. I still watch his stuff. So huge shout out to Reed Timmer. And huge shout out to Pecos Hank. And shout out to his entire team. I forget the name, but huge shout out to them. So I'm gonna just end off the introduction here, and next time I'll talk about the Moore tornado, which was pretty violent. But until next time.